welcome to the Designers Talks with Erika Lagerbielke, episode 3, from here in New York and Sweden, the Orrefors Designers Talk. Erika Lagerbielke, welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to be joining you here.
Yeah, how does it feel to be here today?
It's very exciting.
Yeah, okay, good. So, before we start the Designers Talk, we're just going to go through some small house rules, or whatever you want to call it. We will do that by, first, we're going to start by telling a little bit about how the system works. So Erin, you want to take this page?
Sure. So just so we all are on the same page here, when it comes to asking questions, you see the Q&A function there on the toolbar. So please send in questions using the Q&A function. And then if you need to chat with us for any reason, there's also the bubble chat to speak with Aman and myself. So when asking questions and chatting, you can use those functions.
Good. Thank you. My name is Iman Masho. I'm the CEO and president of Orrefors and Costa Boda, North America. And together with me, you have Erin Rollo. Who are you?
Hi, everyone. For anyone new joining, I'm Erin Rollo, our marketing manager for Orrefors and Costa Boda.
Exactly. And we have some exciting news. During our Designers Talk, before we introduce Erika fully, we have some wording here that looks a little bit weird, but during our Designers Talk, we will be giving out 3 sets of more wine, sets of 4. Erin, let us know a little bit more about this.
Yes, so this is something new for this designer talks that we're very excited about. So as the conversation, as our talk is going on with Erika, we will be asking some questions throughout the presentation, and we would like our listeners to send in the answers in the chat function. So all of the winners will be announced at the end of the designer talks, and the winner must be present still on the discussion on the webinar in order to win. So we will announce that at the end. So please listen and pay attention, and you'll be hearing some of the questions as we go through our talk.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Erin. So trying to use the chat for when the questions comes up, and trying to use the Q&A function when you have a question that you want to ask Erika or Erin or myself. The Kingdom of Crystal. For you that have been here before, you have heard this story, but Orrefors and Costa Boda, our production that we produce in Sweden, is for everything that is produced in Sweden. Our location today is placed in Costa. Costa, as you can see, is on the southeast part of the beautiful Sweden. We have Norway on the west coast, we have Finland on the east coast, and then we have Denmark down below. The place is called Glasriket, and if you translate that to English from Swedish, that's the Kingdom of Crystal. Because back in the days, this was where all of the glass factories were located, or most of them, if you go back, 50, 60, and even 100 years. We are one company, but with 2 brands. And as I said, we're founded in 1742. Our glass is very vibrant, it's bold, it's innovative and intriguing. And we're one of Europe's oldest glass factories. And this is a beautiful picture from our heart, our soul. Our one big part of our brand is our factory in Costa, and as you can see, it was founded in 1742, and it still looks like this. Orrefors history goes back to 1726, but what we refer to today is 1898, because at 1726 we're producing iron. It was an ironworks factory, but then the prices dropped down and we switched our production to what we see today as Orrefors glass or crystal, and that happened in 1898. And the first designer was signed to Orrefors at 1926, and Orrefors became what we know as Orrefors today, I would say, in 1925, when we won the World Exhibition in Paris, and that was a very big statement and trophy for Orrefors to receive. In 2005, we got a new owner called New Wave Group that is on the Swedish stock market. And then in 2015, we started a new, very interesting collaboration with the Swedish car manufacturer Volvo Cars. So we started to produce crystal gear shift, handmade crystal gear shift for their hybrid cars. and the reason why we're here today. Some people call her the crystal stemware glass queen. I call her a dear friend of mine and a fantastic colleague. Erika Lagerbielke is a professor at the Linnea University in Växjö, Sweden, or is in Kalmar.
Kalmar and Växjö, actually.
Kalmar and Växjö, actually. Okay, there's it.
Yeah.
And she's been a professor there since 2005. She started working with Orrefors at 82. She has done some of the most stunning projects for Orrefors since 82, and also throughout Orrefors history. She designed the official gift from the Swedish people and the government to the crown princess couple in 2010. And she also made a homage collection that we had in our catalogs called Divine, that we're still selling today. It's a beautiful collection with a beautiful story. She has designed the most and best-selling stemware collections for Orrefors for the last 30 years, but also she does have sold the most stemware overall in Orrefors history. So a big digital applause to Erika Lagerbielke. There's a big sound there in the background. And so I want to start by saying welcome again, Erika, for joining us, and thank you so much for taking off your time to be with us here today.
It's my great pleasure. I always enjoyed working with the US market, and in the past I visited many times and always was so very welcomed by the US people there. So I felt that, if there's a chance, then I'll take it.
Yeah, I love that. So before we start, we have prepared two videos, but we have a small video we want to show. Do you want us to maybe start a little bit short with that video? I think that could be a nice start, and then we can jump from there to hear a little bit more your thoughts. And because every time I see this video, I've seen it like thousands of times, I just like, oh wow, she's so great. Like it just comes back to me, everything that you have done, and in a beautiful way. So I will start with the video. And I think normally I need to press here first. I don't do that mistake. Use record cloud.
Sorry, 1 second. Making
Erin,
sure volume works.
Yeah, give me the sign if the sound is coming.
Det hade en fantastisk glasveranda med färgglasfönster. Vilken underbar känsla det var att stå och titta ut genom de här olika färgglasen och uppleva den värld som blev genom blått glas, genom rött glas, genom grönt glas. Och också den totala känslan av lycka när solen lyste in genom de här färgfönstren. Den lyckokänslan och också den känslan av magi är jag helt säker på att det är därför som jag arbetar med glas idag. Det som gör det här till ett Erika-glas, det är nog att det är en väldigt enkel men självklar form. Kanske lite djärv, att den känns som att man vill gärna ta i den. Den är inbjudande mot handen. Om jag får säga det själv så tycker jag att det är ett välproportionerat glas. Ser självklart och ändå intressant ut. Så det är ett riktigt Erika-glas. Någonstans är det mötet mellan mina idéer och mina skisser och ritningar och glasarbetet i hyttan. Det är där någonstans så är ju nästan det roligaste av allt. Och också det som är mest utvecklande och där det händer väldigt mycket. Och det är väl typiskt, tycker jag, för de här processerna vi har på glasbruken, att där man möts liksom med olika kompetens och utvecklar någonting som blir lite mer intressant än det hade blivit om man bara hade jobbat helt på egen hand. I motsats till när jag jobbar med design av vinglas och det är väldigt mycket funktion och det finns en kunskap om vinet och andra saker, så bygger mitt arbete med konstglas väldigt mycket på en helt intuitiv process egentligen. Det finns ingen anledning till varför en konstglasbit ser ut på ett visst sätt. Den behöver göra det, den vill göra det, den ska göra det. Och jag följer min intuition och skapar det som jag känner att jag vill göra. Det är omsorg om detaljerna som gör enkelheten vacker. Och så tänker jag därför att jag jobbar ju med väldigt, väldigt enkla former. För jag vill låta drycken tala och jag vill också låta situationen, måltiden, umgänget, människorna runt glaset tala. Och då jobbar man så enkelt som jag vill göra och så sparsmakat i formen. Då blir ju allting synligt. Då ser man ju alla detaljer. Och då måste man ju vara oerhört noga med att de detaljer som syns så väl är omsorgsfullt utformade så att de blir vackra. När vi kom dit första gången.
Fantastic. I just it's so good to have these videos because it really, package everything in a really nice way. So before we talk about, we're gonna go through as much as we can of your journey, and let's start with where we started, or where it started for you. So what do we see in front of us here today?
Well, it's actually my first design for Orrefors. It was my first stemware, and it was called Erika. And because everybody thought, it's your first stemware, so it's so nice if it has your name. It wasn't as much fun when it was discontinued. So I learned that never name anything from yourself or your loved ones, because, it's fun when it's there, but it's not fun when it's not there. So, but Erika was a glass which I tried to capture a lot of romanticism that I had found. I found at that time in 1985 that it was sort of in the air, and I wanted to capture that in the glass. And also I wanted to make a stem that had this sort of sculptural shape, a little heavier at the top, and then sort of goes lighter down. Very open. I still think it's a beautiful design, but I traveled a bit since. But it was popular for a while.
Okay, nice. So can you tell us a little bit more, like, how did you start your career with glass and design? Like, what made you start, thinking of glass as a material that you want to work with?
Yeah, I went to the National College of Art, Craft and Design in Stockholm, called Konstfack, and to many people's surprise, I didn't go to the glass department. I went to the industrial design department, and that is because I have always had this interest in things that people will be using and trying to come up with new ideas, being innovative and see to the actual functional needs of everyday products. I think that is so important, that what we have around us all the time is something that is really well executed and well thought through. And I don't really have a craft. My craft is design, and my craft is drawing and innovating. So I went to this education, and then I had a internship or scholarship during my third year, and came to Orrefors and could be an intern for about 3 months and do pretty much what I wanted. It was very, very generous. Some people felt that maybe I did a few things too many, because I really, used all the possibilities that were there. I tried all the crafts, and it was I had opportunity to work with the most skilled craftspeople and to talk to the more senior designers and learn from them, and try to understand and actually to be able to breathe the environment of this prestigious and traditional glasswork with all its traditions and all that. So it was absolutely fantastic. And I just felt that I want to stay here. Glass is really a material that's me. And I think I understand glass, it's some sort of intuitive understanding of what glass is and what you can do with glass. So when this internship time was over, the management actually asked me if I was interested in staying on, and I didn't even pretend to be, a hard get it was like this, yes, that's something I want to do. So, and then I did, during my last year at the college, I was actually employed by Orrefors, and I did my final work with in-laws, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I came and I never left.
Yeah, wow. And thank you for that. And what would you say, because we have some slideshow, we have some pictures on some of your collections throughout the year, but before we show that, it doesn't have to be a collection, but like, what are you the most proud of so far in your career?
That's a very difficult question from a long career. I have to say Intermezzo, of course, the glass with the blue bubble, blue drop, which because it's an innovation, and by chance you have a slide. It's such a special design, and it has been so important to me and to the company, and it is actually an innovation in glassmaking, and it's very rare to come up with anything that's actually new in the making. And I still think there in the center of the picture, in the center of the slide, there is the champagne glass, which was one of the two first items in this series, and I still think it's an absolutely beautiful glass in proportions and all that. So it's
Can you give us a little bit behind the scene, because I know that there's a tradition or there's a saying, and maybe this is just a rumor, I don't know, but when you work with the craftsmen like the glass blowers, that every time you ask something, I've heard these stories about they always answer, it's not possible, it's not possible, it's not possible, it's not possible. And I know there's a very fantastic story how this technique was developed, and can you give us a little bit more an insight behind the story about Intermezzo?
Yeah, try to keep it brief. It's this is actually an example of somebody who didn't say it's not possible. When I made the design Erika, I made friends with one of the glass blowers that was actually assigned to help designers come up, create and their ideas. And I had got the commission from Orrefors to make a new stemware design, and they wanted something for, the brief was actually extremely short. We need a design for somebody who is young. You are young, make it. And so I said, and then I felt that I wanted to add some color. And since I had made friends with this person, Hans Johansson, in the making of the design Erika, I asked him, so can we do something? Can we add color in some way? I had been trying with a bubble, with just plain air, but I didn't think it was visible enough, and I didn't think it was fun enough, because this was the mid-80s, and we wanted fun things. We wanted color details. And he said, I don't know how we can make this, but I would really like to try. So let's try. And then we tried, and we tried high and low, and I swear to it, we colored the whole hot shop blue, actually. And this led in turn to that his manager said to him that, you can't really continue with this. The floor manager said that, this is never going to lead anywhere. Erika will have funny ideas, that's fine, but now enough is enough. But this person, being extremely stubborn and having the idea that he was onto something, he, with a friend, spent some weekends in the hot shop, sort of in the dark, because he had the key to the factory, since he was supposed to go there if the fire alarm went off. So he needed to get in. So they made this innovation, a technical innovation that allows the introduction of the color in the stem, and was successful with that. And then they showed it to me, and I said, yeah, wow, that's nice. But the thing is, I didn't know that they were banned from doing this. So I felt it was sort of they tried it and they made some errors, and then they tried it again, and then they succeeded. And the story about not being allowed to do it was told to me maybe 10 years later or something. I had no idea. But the fun doesn't really stop here, because if you have been told that you can't do something, how do you present to your boss that I have been successful? presenting it to me, that wasn't difficult, but how do you present it to your boss? But he actually went up one level and showed it for different reasons. He had access to be able to show it to the CEO and said, well, I've been trying this with Erika, and don't you think it's very nice? And the CEO, who had no idea that this was a problem, said, oh, that's nice, we're going to do that. And then the floor manager decided he had been supportive all along, and it was actually so everybody was happy in the end, and it did actually turn out to be something. It has, so
definitely.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, the Intermezzo collection, is the #1 collection for Orrefors all over the world, globally. So it's our #1 stemware collection in every country. So it's a beautiful, and I think one thing that is very interesting is that we launched Intermezzo in '85, if I'm not saying it wrong, and you started working in '82.
Yes.
So with 3 years, like in the hot shop or working with Orrefors, you made a collection, that is still the #1 collection. That's quite impressive. So my question with that is, how do you come up with we can talk about Intermezzo, but we can also talk about difference.
Wait, real quick. Sorry. Going to interrupt.
Yeah.
It's question time for everybody, so we need to interject those where we can. So just making sure everyone's listening and paying attention with the talk. So this one was from the very beginning. Erika started working at Orrefors through what type of school program? So if you remember what that answer was, please chat it to us, how Erika started working at Orrefors, what type of school program was that? So whoever sends in that chat for us will get to be the winner of the 4-pack of wine glasses.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. So go ahead, continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Erin. Great that jumped in there. And then also, please, everyone, whenever you like, use the Q&A function or the chat function. If you have questions, please use the Q&A function. Send them in right to Erika or right here, and I will read them up, or Erin will read them up to Erika when we are talking about the specific topic. So please use the Q&A function. But we also have collections like difference. Where do you find, you have launched so many successful stemware collections for Orrefors for so many years. How do you find the inspiration to still produce or design glasses that look so different from each other? Where do you find that inspiration?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's perhaps not entirely easy to answer. It's quite intuitive, but I think that what I try to do is to have my ear to the ground in the way that I try to understand what is the contemporary desires among people who are want to entertain with in their home with their family and friends, and what are the desires, how they want to lay their tables. How are they interacting with their guests? In the way we interact among people, I think there's a lot of inspiration to be found. Why do people do what they do? How are people behaving now? Is maybe slightly different from what they were doing 10 years ago. In 1985, I sensed that there was people wanted color, the fun and color details. There was then in the mid-90s and around the millennium, when I started working with glasses that were especially designed to enhance the wine quality, the aroma and the taste. This is something that I sensed that people were being more aware about what wine was and what kind of difference the glass made to the experience of the wine, and that was being more widely appreciated. So that's why I started working with not only the glass as a beautiful design, but also functional design that was enhancing the wine and the taste and the aroma. So by trying to understand how are people's behavior changing, and well, as I said, having my ear to the ground.
Yeah,
people are inspiring.
Yeah, but also if we have the difference collection in front of us here right now, if you can just give us a short, the short version of like what's the thoughts behind it.
Yeah,
from a user perspective.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and thank you for asking. I think that the idea behind this is a well-known fact that depending on the shape of the glass, and I actually have a difference mature here, the one with the red wine that's in the picture. This shape enhances wine, different wine tastes than a shape that would be, this is champagne glass, and it enhances different tastes. So by using different shapes, you will get a different wine experience from the same wine. And if you're interested in wine, or if you're just interested in having a good time, then you can add so much by using different glasses and trying to find the glass shape that goes with your palate and your favorite wine, and how that will be enhanced by the glass that you have been choosing. And this is the idea with this series, is also that it should be simple, so there aren't so many different glasses. There are 5 or 6 different glasses, 2 for red wine, 2 for white wine. There's a champagne glass, and there's a glass for sweet wines, and that's really all you need, because there you can fit all red wines into 2 different shapes and get the major and important differences from that. And I have actually the red wine glasses here. You can see one is a bit taller, and it's maybe like this. This one is a bit taller, and this one is a bit lower and wider, and it will fit a mature wine better, and this will fit a young wine better. And you will get the freshness, the grapiness, the fruitiness from those kinds of wines in this glass, and you will get the mature notes in this lower kind of glass. And it has to do with the shape of the glass. And I said before that I think I understand glass. And when working with this, I also discovered that in this way I understand the combination wine and glass. I can actually, if you want me to design a glass that enhances a certain kind of aroma and taste, I can do that. I can make wine taste the way you want it. It's just, it's a
and we're going to talk about one of our projects that we did for one of the foremost restaurants in Sweden later on, so we can talk a little bit more about the procedure. That would be very interesting to hear a little bit more how you do that. But let's thank you for that, Erika. But also, like, I just want to add to the smartness with this concept of difference is like exactly what Erika said, where you don't need to have 24 different glasses based on grape. So I can just confirm exactly what you're saying. So when you are in your house or whatever, if you're giving away a gift, that you don't have to have one for this grape, one glass for this grape, one glass. That's a lot of glass, and then you need maybe 8 to 12 glasses per shape. That would be, you need to have a huge kitchen to be able to fit all of that. So that's why I think this collection has been so extremely successful, because it does the same thing in a much more smarter and efficient way, more efficient way.
And Emily, it's all about the experience of the wine. It's not about the grape that you used making the wine, as you were saying. It's about the experience of the wine. Yeah. And that's why it's possible to have this smartness, as you were describing. Yeah. So it's a meeting between the person drinking the wine, using the glass. Yeah. It's a brief moment there where there's.
We have a question here. We received a question from Britt. Which pattern or stemware do you use when setting your table for a special dinner?
I like to mix and match a little bit, actually. So when I have for drinks, I usually serve a sparkling wine of some sort. And then I have this beautiful vitrine where I have all these different glasses. And then I open the vitrine and my guests can choose the glass of their, I make sure they are all nice and clean before. And they can choose the glass that they like. And it's always such a good way of, chatting because people can talk about, I choose this because I like that, and I choose this because I like that. And then for the sit-down dinner, I would use difference, and depending, of course, on the wine I'm serving, I would use the appropriate glass from the difference line. So I think that try to use both something that's a bit of fun and allows a bit of interacting with my guests, and then when it comes to the important stuff, drinking a nice wine, then I need the glass that's made for it. So that's the difference line.
Very nice. I'm sure a dinner party at your house would be very fun and enjoyable.
I hope so.
And then we have a collection that you have produced that is like very popular, that has become our like second best stemware collection in the US. You can see some similarities with Intermezzo and Homage. And we did get a question, so I'm also going to throw in the question here before we talk about Metropol. The similarities and differences between Intermezzo and Metropol are remarkable and speak to your sensitivity to change in a time while maintaining heritage. Do you have a favorite between the two?
I would rather say that I have favorites in both lines. I like the Intermezzo is of course, I mean, it's like, it's my firstborn, so it's a bit difficult not to love that the most. But I think with Metropol, I think it's stunning with the black drop, and it allows for the maybe different bit of different table setting, and also that the red wine glass, which is very big and bigger than almost any of the glasses in the Intermezzo line. It's such a wonderful glass to have, really lovely, rich red wine from. So I like that a lot. And of course, the new, as you have in the picture, the new coupe, which is so versatile, and you can use it for your champagne, for your cocktails, for your sherbets. So that's also a very good glass because it's so, you can use it to so many things. Just a bit of extra information is that this was developed with a special team in the hot shop in Costa, and being the men of the hot shop, they prefer the beer glass, and they have told me that they think that it's the most beautiful glass in the line, and that's the glass they prefer. That might be the drink that they prefer, but
it could be so. And talking about beer, we had a big success that we launched in 2014. The collection called, not more complicated than the collection's names, is literally beer. And you have 4 glasses. You have a lager, a pilsner, an IPA, and a taster. So you decided to not launch 1 beer glass. You launched 4. Why?
Because beer is exactly as wine. Different kinds of beer have different identities, they have different aromas, different tastes. And you can actually enhance these by having a glass of different types. So with the lager glass to the left, it would enhance the qualities of a rich lager very well. The taster glass on the right enhances a richer, fuller quality of a darker beer, perhaps also like a Belgian type of beer. And the IPA glass in the middle, that's a bit of fun because it has sort of a wine cup on a base, and the wine cup enhances IPA really well. And it has to do with this tulip shape that enhances the richness of the IPA so good. But it's also something that I wanted in this collection to create glasses that was not only enhancing the taste and the aroma, but also capturing a bit of the identity in the actual shape. So the IPA, I wanted to do something that was really different, because at least in Sweden, IPA was, still is, but even more a couple of years ago, it was always positioned as something that was different. It was rebellious. It was something that not everybody was doing. People were wearing bandanas and wearing pirate flags, Jolly Roger flags, and all that on the cans. So, and I felt that, okay, so how do I get this into an Orrefors design? Because Orrefors isn't really very much Jolly Roger. But I felt that doing something that was not on a stem and base, but sort of more like a tumbler, but in a special shape, would be innovative and different in a way that you would perceive an IPA to be. So in this collection, it's partly about taste and aroma, but also about identity, the visual identity.
Thank you.
And from this collection, I use the IPA glass and the glass taster myself mostly.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So let's see, there came in a question here. We received a question, can you please provide more information on how shape enhances a specific type of beer? Thank you.
The IPA glass.
The beer glasses, I think he means all of them for like
Okay.
just the...
Yeah, it's really the same thing with wine and with beer. And I have here the ultimate shape to enhance aroma and flavor is a tulip shape. You would want something that is wide around the middle, and the widest part should be not in the middle, but it should be at about 1/3 of the height. And then you would want the glass to close so that you will capture all the aromas in the glass and not spreading them as you would in a glass like this, which is sort of cone-shaped glass. In a glass like this, it spreads more well, it spreads.
Yeah.
So you want them to be closed. And with beer, as with wine, the tulip shape that captures all the flavors that leaves the surface of the drink, and you capture them in the glass by this narrow opening, and it reaches your nose in a sort of like this.
Like an angle, yeah.
At an angle.
Yeah.
And of course with beer, there is a lot of aroma in the foam also. So you will need a bit of space for the foam also. And the wider the glass, the richer the aroma you will experience the richer aroma, and the more straighter the glass, you will get a sense of a more flowery, lighter, perhaps also a little bit bitter. So it's funny that way that the shape of the glass rounder gives a rounder taste, and a slimmer shape gives a sort of more elegant taste. It will taste what it looks like. It's funny, and there's no reason that why it should do that, but it does. So and it's easy to try if you want, and how you can also experiment yourself with where will you experience the flavor and the aroma that's to your personal liking, because I can provide information on, okay, so you have this kind of glass and it will enhance this kind of beer at a sort of expert or objective level. But then it's with you. What do you like? Maybe you don't like it in the objective way. Maybe you would want to sort of twist it a little bit to your liking. So maybe you have a beer and you think it's too rich. Well, then maybe you would want to drink it from a more narrow glass. So depending on what your favored tastes are, you can find a way of playing around with achieving what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Good. But like now you've been working with Orrefors for so many years, and you have done, you won, different design awards. You have both for your design, but also like some of your collections, and you have done everything from art glass. We're going to show some pictures soon. You've done special projects, high and lows, and like where does that, where does that, what drives you, where does that come from to keep on going and keep on, coming up being very creative ideas?
I think it's curiosity, and I think like with so many artists, it's a curiosity. What happens if I do it another way? If I do it differently this time? What happens if I try a new, like with the Intermezzo Metropol designs? So what happens if I make a straighter line, not a curved shape in Intermezzo? So, and then it turns out like a new design. And I've been recently doing quite a lot of special projects, and that's very rewarding, because then you work with someone and you can sort of travel that curiosity road together with someone who has certain wishes and demands, and you can see where you can go together. I think that, as I said, curiosity, but it's very much curiosity on people and people's dreams, people's desires, changing times, and trying to do things that I haven't done before, where no man has gone before. Start.
Yeah, interject really fast here with another question for everybody. So I want to keep these happening. So this again was talked about in the beginning, but I'm sure all the attendees here will know it right away. The question is, when was Intermezzo introduced? So what year was Intermezzo introduced? So please send us your answer in the chat.
Yeah, very good. This, you can call it some kind of one kind of special project. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, what we're seeing in front of us?
Yeah, this is one of the projects that I've done that I'm most proud of all time. It is the official wedding gift for the Crown Princess couple when they married in 2010. And I was commissioned to do this by the Swedish Government and Parliament. And it was so, I was so honored to be asked, and it was such a wonderful project. And it was the biggest secret, because the Parliament people, they were saying, the Speaker of the Parliament who commissioned this to me, he said that we don't want the Crown Princess couple to know about this in advance. We want it to be a surprise. When they open the box, it should be a total surprise. And it's not so easy to keep secrets as big as this really secret. But I think we managed to do that. I mean, all of the glasswork knew, but they didn't tell anybody. So it was a shared secret among a group of people. And what I wanted to do was to do something that was contemporary. I think that was my number one thing I decided. First, I was extremely proud. Then I was struck with fear that can I come up with something that's good enough? Will this be? Can I provide? And then I decided that they must have asked me for a reason. So I decided to look at some of my previous designs and picked things that I was most proud of. Things about how handling glass and understanding the craft, understanding wine and how the wine and the glass interacts, daring to work with simplicity as a feature, even for a royal couple, and also to add something that was personal. And I think this combination of trying to do something that was contemporary, royal, and also personal. And this is what I was trying to achieve. And I think I was sort of...
Yeah, I can say you did it. I'll say it. Fantastic. So
Can I say that I think this is something I use when I work with my students as a professor, because it's about how to design. And when you design a stemware line, then you want each glass to be really, really beautiful, but you also want the set to be beautiful. So you want the set to be as one, and to be harmonious. There should be harmony and balance. And if you place it the traditional way with all the glasses in front of each guest, and there should be a beautiful entity.
Yeah.
But then when you pick out one of the glasses and you drink from one glass, of course that must be a thing of beauty on its own.
Yeah.
And there was something that my former colleague Gunnar Syrén shared with me, that he felt that it was a clockwork thing, you know. You had to make it all fit together. And you can see on this design how it's all about balance. The stems have the equal height, the decorations is placed on the same level, the balance point with the heaviest point of the cups are on the same level. You just can't understand how many times I redesigned all these, and once I changed one of them, I had to change all the others.
Yeah. Wow. Yes.
It was a sort of never-ending story. But then there was a wedding, so I had to be done at a certain date.
Yeah. Didn't she make like a joke or something, Victoria, the crown princess, when she received the gift from the prime minister?
Yeah, that's true. Because the personal thing that I added to these glasses is that it's a frosted decoration. And I did this because I had experienced in a TV interview, actually, when they announced their engagement, that they had got engaged on a frosty winter's day. And since it was a secret, I couldn't ask them, so what's your favorite, so, you know, whatever. So I had to sort of pick this up from media. And I think engaged on a frosty winter's day, they will always remember that day. They will always remember that moment, you know. Winter will be there for them. So I think, can I add something frost? Then maybe it can be, you have something. The glittering thing is the shiny thing, that's royal in a way, it's like diamonds, but it's also a very personal story. And when the prime minister said a few words about the design, and I've seen this on television only, I wasn't there, but he said that, well, there's this frost-like pattern, and then she replied very quickly that, oh, so it's about our frosted relationship. And then you could see the prime minister on television, he became all red, his face, because it wasn't not the intended response. But then he sort of said, no, it's about your engagement day. And then you can say like, said the crown princess. I think she got it. This is my interpretation.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
I would like it.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to jump up. We have 10 more minutes, and we have a 3-minute video here too. So we're going to show. So we're going to jump a little bit quicker now. Next picture is because you do not only produce stemware, you also do vases and bowls and many other things. And this is a mix of an art objects that needs a special project. Can you just give us a short version of what are we seeing in front of us?
The short version.
Yeah.
It's the Volvo China Open Trophy from 2016, if I'm correct. It was introduced first that it was a golf tournament held in China. And this is the idea with this is that, and I made it in a co-design project with one of Volvo's designers, Eva Hanner Larsson, who is also in the picture, the lady in the middle. And what we came up with the idea that the winning ball, you know, the winning stroke or whatever you call it, that should be captured in the trophy forever. So we made the winning player to put the golf ball in the base of the trophy, and then it's joined, glued actually together. So it's forever there. It's a bit complicated to glue crystals. It was a bit more complicated than we actually thought. But we really felt that to capture this winning moment in the crystal, that would be a great idea. And I think that the players like it, but the people doing it doesn't like it so much. But
it's a beautiful. Thank you for that, and it's a beautiful, I think, story and how you can do special project. It doesn't only have to be stemware. You can design so much more than only glasses. You can play with glass in so many different ways. I'm going to jump over to a short video. Just give me the sign that the sound is there. For a very interesting project that you did. So can you tell us a little bit more? What did we just see? What project was that?
It's a really important project in a way. It's Swedish. It's called Oändlighet, and in English it would be eternity. And it's a project about showing how used and broken car glass can be used as raw material for a beautiful art glass object. And I think it addresses questions of sustainability, which I think is our greatest challenge for onwards. Glass is totally sustainable in that way that you can remelt it any amount of times. It doesn't lose any quality. But there are different kinds of glass, and you can't really. This was to investigate. Can we take something that is considered maybe as a low quality, and which the purpose is for something entirely different as a car glass windshield, and then use it for something that you think would be a prime quality art object, and how will it look, and what are the difficulties, and will we achieve a quality that we think is good enough, and really, so what happens, the curiosity thing, what happens if we try, when we do like this, look at it, evaluate, and it was it actually was so much more possible than we thought initially. So it was really interesting that way, and I think it has been inspiring in many ways for quite a few people actually. So it was a great project that way. It was small, but interesting research project.
Fantastic.
Okay, real quick before we go into this, we don't have a lot of time left, and I know I said I will have 3 questions, so I want to keep to that. So my third question here, the glass blowers that worked on Metropol, like which glass best? So that was the question. So send in your answers.
And use the chat function, please.
Yeah.
Use the chat function. And please, if you have any more questions for Erika, feel free to ask them. We have 2 more minutes and we're going to start round up. I'm just going to show this beautiful collection that we decided, Erika designed for a place that looks like this. It's what are we seeing in front of us? If you give us the shortest pitch you can do.
I think you see the finest restaurant in Sweden, Orrefors. It's prestigious, 1 star in the Guide Michelin. They have just this is the dining hall, 6 meters to the roof, tradition from 100 years or more, and I was commissioned to do their very own special stemware line, and it looks like this. And this is a lot of fun because we worked on this together, Eamon. So
it was a very fun
time doing it.
Yeah, it was so fun doing this project. I really enjoyed doing this.
Maybe if I may, I can just point out that the champagne glass in this line is a little bit different than you might think of champagne glass.
Good point.
But it's I think if we go in that way with champagne glasses, that they are less tall and a little bit wider in order to enhance the fruitiness of the champagne, and also if there's a maturation of the champagne, you would want it to be slightly wider in order to get those qualities. So we are going towards wider, lower glasses for well, many drinks, but champagne is very clear that it's going that way, and of course they want it. Can I just say that when we asked the head sommelier what if he felt that his champagne did taste as good as he was used to when trying it in this new glass, and then he said, actually even better.
That's a good. That's always good. I think it was a very fun project, and I know that Orrefors really appreciate working with us in this project, and with you especially. It was a blast. I want to respect people's time, including yours and Erin's and everyone's joining us today. So we're going to start rounding up a little bit. Before we do that, Erika, is there anything you want to say or share with the attendees or the fantastic people we have with us today?
Maybe we can talk about something that's coming up.
Yes.
At the moment, we are talking about new barware, which I think is a very interesting category. I think we're using beautiful bar glasses more than ever. We like our cocktails, we like our whiskey sodas, we like to do that. And of course, as a designer, it's intriguing to have one's ear to the ground and take a sip of try to understand what are the future desires and demands of people in their barware. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, we are very excited to see what's going to come next. And barware is such a right thing to work with right now. So that we're very excited, Erika, to see the design when you're ready. I want to say thank you so much, Erika. But before we do that, we're going to say we have some winners that have won some. So, Erin, you want to share the names?
Yes. Okay, so I want to thank you all. You listened well, so thank you very much, everybody. So for question 1, I have Tia Lynn as the winner there. And this was all based on, we can see the timing and everything that comes in. So question 2, Jan Kobienk, I hope I say your last name right. And then winner 3, Sarah Burke. Those are our 3 winners. And I know when you register, I have all your email addresses and everything, so I can reach out to the 3 winners. And thank you all again for your listening. And it was great. I got tons of replies back. So we're very excited about this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if anyone want to send a grading to Erika, use the Q&A function. You know where it is. And send a small grading to Erika, and we will share that with her after this webinar is over. But Erika, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today and for taking off your time to meet with our family, the Crystal family that we have here in New York and the USA. Yeah. And
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
thank
of course.
you.
Thank
It
you.
was great.
Yeah, and keep on doing that great job. And with that said, we also want to let everyone know that the next Designers Talk, episode 4, will be with Kjell Engman. That will be June 24th. So please add that to your calendars. It will be the same time, the same place, new link. We will send it out like normal in an email, so please add that. If you want to reach out to Erin or me or anyone in our team, please feel free to use the Designers Talks at orrefors.us. So Designers Talks with an S at orrefors.us, and you can ask any questions or any comment or anything you feel like. And with that, we want to say thank you so much for your time and for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Erika. It was wonderful. Bye.
Bye.